A man charged in a deadly fire is talking about what happened the morning 3 people were killed.
I regret it every day.
More on his exclusive interview with WKYT ahead.
The video is going viral online. The trouble 2 kayakers face for taking a ride over the Cumberland Falls.
If you plan on following the Cats through the NCAA tournament, coming up we'll share with you some tips from the BBB as to how to not get scammed.
This is WKYT News at 5.
A man charged in a deadly fire admits it started in his apartment and calls it an accident.
Jackie Heisel Jr. faces 3 manslaughter charges in Friday's fire at an apartment building in Winchester. 3 people died, including Heisel's son. Today, he talked exclusively to WKYT hours before his first court appearance. WKYT's Victor Puente has our top story at 5.
This morning, Jackie Heisel Jr. told us he would never forgive himself for what happened last Friday. The fire that he admits started in his apartment killed 3 people, including his son. His arrest citation says he was drinking and smoking cigarettes while using oxygen. Heisel told us after his oxygen line caught fire, he tried to put it out.
I was, like I say, I put on my oxygen, and it caught on fire. And I yanked it off, my oxygen, and I covered up the pillars. I smothered out.
He told us that fire began to spread, and as it started going up the walls, he got scared and ran out of the apartment, knocking on his neighbors' doors to warn them. 3 people died in the fire. 29-year-old Tina Reynolds and 71-year-old Dixie Everman were Heisel's neighbors. The third, 36-year-old Donald Heisel, was his son.
He was my buddy. He was my friend, he was my Christian buddy. He was my life.
Police say he had been told not to smoke around the oxygen because it could cause a fire. At his arraignment this afternoon, Judge Earl Ray Neal entered a not guilty plea for him to 3 counts of manslaughter.
Yeah, I think it's too much. I mean, it wasn't intentional. It was accident. I mean, there wasn't nothing intentional about it. So.
Donald Heisel and Dixie Everman were both buried today. Donald's funeral took place while his father was in court. In Clark County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
A public defender asked the judge to lower Heisel's bond. Judge Neal said due to the seriousness of the allegations, he would keep it at $1 million full cash. We have some showers and storms moving through parts of the area this afternoon.
Some of them have been strong, even severe. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jim Caldwell to show us what is on the radar right now. Hey, Jim.
And there's plenty, guys. More showers, thunderstorms pressing through the area. A lot of this still holding on and holding steady across parts of central and southern Kentucky, as well as a little gap right now showing up essentially from the folks there in Campton to Pikeville. So you won't have that gap long. Of course, more rounds of showers and thunderstorms will start to fill in. It's this batch here that will cause more issues for you. So let's check it out a little more up close and personal. And you can see a little more lightning associated with that one along the Powell and Wolfe County line along the Mountain Parkway. It is just pouring the rain. We move a little more toward the south, and you can see from Hazard over to Hindman, tracking another batch of some of that heavier stuff. No lightning associated with it, at least this moment, but at any time you could run into that. You could also run into some isolated small areas of hail, and of course those gusty winds. We looked through the area, and you could see that Mountain Parkway, Cam, and it is just a mess with some of that heavy rain hanging out. Basically, where that thunderstorm is currently located is very close to where our camera is as well. Temperatures down a little bit, too, with that rain passing through the area. Now, what we're going to run into here throughout the rest of the evening will be those chances starting to die out. They're going to hold on for a little while, and I will track them hour by hour coming up in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. 2 kayakers face legal troubles for a weekend adventure at Cumberland Falls. Video posted on social media shows them going over the falls in their kayak. That stunt ended in citations for both men. As WKYT's Hillary Thornton shows us, it's also prompting a warning from park rangers.
While the video from out here at Cumberland Falls has received thousands of views on social media, park rangers out here say what is seen on that video is strongly discouraged. Dozens of folks visiting Cumberland Falls State Resort Park watched as professional kayakers Nick Troutman and Dane Jackson plummeted down the waterfall Saturday afternoon.
The water is running very fast, and it's probably 40 or 50 foot drop down. A lot of rocks down at the bottom. That water will just can suck kayaks and canoes right under.
It was a ride they both captured on camera, creating a scene that park rangers are calling chaotic. Rangers say because others at the state resort park did not know if the fall was intentional or accidental, many fearing for the men's safety, then running towards the water to help. Then as a park ranger witnessed one of the runs firsthand, he cited the two kayakers for trespassing.
It's marked no wading, no swimming, no boating in that area. It's quite dangerous for the people participating in that type of activities, as well as our rangers and the other first responders that would have to respond should an accident occur. So for the sake of safety, that is simply not allowed in that area.
The kayakers say while they are disappointed they were cited, they do understand why those rules are in place. In Whitley County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
That's the first time I've seen that video. Amazing. Coming up at 6, you will hear from one of those kayakers about his daring ride. And we're learning more about the victim of a deadly weekend crash. 74-year-old Andrew Prasani died Sunday morning in a two-car crash on Interstate 71 in Henry County. The state says that he worked as the dining room supervisor at General Butler State Park. He was hired as a chef 13 years ago before receiving a promotion 2 years later. He was on his way to work at the time of the crash. It's a busy day on the presidential campaign trail. 5 states have primaries tomorrow, including winner-take-all contests in Ohio and Florida.
Weijia Jiang is tracking the candidates.
Security escorted a small group of protesters out of a Donald Trump rally in Hickory, North Carolina. That demonstration was low-key compared to heated confrontations over the weekend involving Trump supporters.
We're not angry people. We're all good. We're good people.
Trump is hoping to sweep Tuesday's primaries, which could make him virtually uncatchable. But in Ohio, polls have Governor John Kasich neck and neck with Trump.
I'm not going to take the low road to the highest office in the land.
In Florida, Marco Rubio volunteers are calling as many voters as possible. Trump is beating him in the polls there by a large margin, but the senator is optimistic.
Tomorrow's a day where we're going to shock the country, and we're going to do what needs to be done.
Ted Cruz is focusing his efforts in other states. This morning, he answered at what point he would not back Trump if the businessman is nominated.
If, for example, he were to go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, I would not be willing to support Donald Trump.
On the campaign trail, the Democratic candidates are talking about Trump, too, using similar language to separate themselves from the Republican leader.
Love trumps hate.
At the end of the day, love always trumps hatred.
Hillary Clinton is leading Bernie Sanders in several states, but the polls also had her winning Michigan last week, which she lost. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Miami.
Polls show Clinton leading in Florida and Ohio, while Sanders leads in Illinois. Louisville police say they're looking into more complaints following Donald Trump's rally earlier this month. A police spokesperson tells a Louisville television station they're looking into 5 cases. 2 involve assaults, 2 involve harassment. Police say they cannot comment. No arrests have been made. The Big Blue Nation is making plans to follow the Cats to Iowa. Many people want to find tickets for the lowest price possible.
And there are things you need to watch for so you don't get scammed. Mike Linden shows us the warning signs.
Murray against Gilder. It's going to be his shot. And he got it!
With the Wildcats heading to Des Moines for the big dance, many of UK fans are on their way too. That's why Better Business Bureau representatives say to be careful.
You really have to use your head as well as your heart when you're buying those tickets so that you don't get scammed, left with useless tickets or no tickets at all, and out your money.
Clary says the warning signs of a scam aren't always the easiest to spot.
He only has $1 on the price, which may indicate that this is up for negotiation, and there's not going to be any guarantee on what that price might be.
Even with popular ticket reselling websites, sometimes the deal can be too good to be true. Clary says if you buy tickets through a third-party reseller, such as eBay or StubHub, to read the terms and conditions of the website clearly to be sure that if something goes wrong, you can get your money back.
There's so many resale sites out there, and some of them have more guarantees than others. Some have none at all. So you really have to have that in mind when you're sifting through all the offers online.
While credit cards may have more security for the buyer, Clary says there's a far less safe option to avoid if a ticket reseller requests it.
If you wire money to someone, that's a big no-no because there's just no guarantees on anything. That's like throwing money in the street. You won't be able to recover it if you've shot it to a con artist and you don't get anything in return.
In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
And according to the NCAA, the only guaranteed way to purchase and sell tournament tickets is through the NCAA Ticket Exchange website. Federal investigators have headed to Kansas to determine what caused an Amtrak train to derail overnight. The train jumped the tracks while heading from Los Angeles to Chicago. More than 30 passengers were injured, 2 of them critically. Those who were on board say the crash aftermath was chaotic.
I exited, and as soon as I opened the room door, there was a large burning smell. Got outside, and there was just a lot of people. I heard people crying for help, looking for folks. So everyone was just kind of on both sides of the train, kind of looking for other people and family members.
The train had 131 passengers on board and 14 crew members. Police are mourning the death of an officer shot and killed outside a police headquarters in Maryland. Prince George's County police say a man shot at officers unprovoked on Sunday. 28-year-old J.C. Colson died in the attack. The loss has devastated his fellow officers.
He lit up a room. He was a tremendous personality that made everybody smile and wanted to be everything to everybody.
Police fired back and injured the suspected gunman, who's now in the hospital. Police say he intended to die in a gunfight with police. Officers also arrested his 2 brothers.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is investigating after disturbing video surfaced from a Kellogg factory. The video reportedly shows a man urinating on an assembly line before panning to a Kellogg logo. The company says it learned of the video Friday and immediately notified authorities. Company officials say they have determined the video was recorded at a plant in Memphis, Tennessee in 2014. Any affected products would be past their expiration dates. Concerns over the Zika virus appear to be slowing down ticket sales for this summer's Olympics. Rio de Janeiro is hosting this year's games. The country is in the middle of an outbreak of the Zika virus, which has been linked to birth defects. The Olympic Organizing Committee says only 47% of tickets have been sold. Tickets to the opening ceremony and other premium events have sold out.
A Chick-fil-A restaurant is helping a police officer's daughter with her battle with cancer. The location on Nicholasville Road is donating 20% of sales to Lexington police officer Jeff Jones and his daughter. The money will be used to pay for the 5-year-old's treatment. More than 100 customers have already donated.
I've met her a couple of times. She's very sweet, just so cute, and she's being really brave through all this.
Jane Ford says she plans on bringing her family back to Chick-fil-A for dinner tonight to help the Jones family.
It is time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. The more hours you work, the higher your risk of heart disease might be. Researchers studied 1,900 people and found 40% had a problem related to heart disease. Among those who worked full-time, the risk rose 1% for every additional hour worked each week for more than 10 years. The risk increased even more for people who reached 46 hours a week. It's being called the next big thing in fitness. Experts say rowing is a high cardio, low impact workout, attracting many new fans. Marley Hall shows us how it works.
Ben Hagan is a City Row regular.
Release.
The 34-year-old Minnesota native says rowing has become an essential part of his workout routine.
You have spin out there, you have cardiovascular yoga, but for me, the perfect combo of strength and cardio has become rowing.
Ben's not alone. Teacher Annie Mulgrew says she sometimes has to turn students away.
I need harder pushes, not faster strokes, harder pushes.
Mulgrew says the intense high cardio workout uses 85% of a person's muscles, but is still easy on the body.
It's a total body workout that is low in impact, meaning you're not going to put a lot of strain on your joints. You're not jumping around. It's not hard on the body.
Water inside the machines provides resistance. Most newcomers have to work on coordination at first.
There's some power. That was good? That was good.
That was hard.
For fans like Ben Hagan, it's the new spinning.
I love the competitiveness when you're in a classroom setting. It's not necessarily competition within others in the class, but with yourself.
Health experts say cardio and strength training are still one of the best ways to get and stay in shape.
Amazing!
Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
Health experts say a rowing workout also strengthens the upper back, counteracting all that time spent hunched over computer screens. An Eastern Kentucky college will launch the state's first broadband technology program this fall. Big Sandy Community and Technical College is offering the new associate degree, which will be the third of its kind in the nation. The program will train students to install and maintain broadband. The state is working to expand broadband access across the state. Have you filled out your March Madness brackets yet? Nearly 51 million American workers could participate in office pools this year. A job search expert estimates that it costs businesses $1.3 billion an hour in lost productivity.